Hello, my lovely. We know that we didn't get to this next level shit in business because we did things the neurotypical way. We are wired differently, and we are not designed for things that are one size fits all. That's why I come here weekly to share life and business stories and weekly takeaways from my personal experiences and my clients' experiences anonymously, unscripted. You and I, are born disruptors. And that means we're made for entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is multifaceted, and so are the topics we discuss here. So this week we will chat about creating and consumption, what nobody can ever take away from you, following through on boundaries in your business, and what the universe tries to do when we do that. I may have a personal story there. Getting into rooms you don't think you belong in, but you do, and about healing after a later life ADHD diagnosis. Little update there. These are this week's topics, and they're from an ADHD entrepreneur diagnosed later in life, just like you. So turn the volume up to an 11 and prepare to see yourself in these stories. Welcome back to the ADHD Entrepreneur. My name is Carrie. I am your host. I am the chief weirdo of Carrie Out Loud. And if you're new here, welcome. I am so glad that you found the podcast. If you love this episode, please leave a 5-star review and let me know what you loved. When you do that, it helps other ADHD women in business find this podcast, women who are like you. So, the multitude of topics today. Let's start off with consume less, create more. That is how you do different shit than anyone else around you and propel yourself to the next level. It is so easy to consume a bunch of books, there are parts of our business where we are consuming. Let's be real. When we're newer, when we're, earlier on. But as we get to be a little bit more in, a couple years in, you get to the point of understanding that you don't have, you know what your messaging is, you know who your client is that you are looking to work with. You don't need to consume more of a lot of different things. It gets to a point where you only want to consume things that are targeted, that will benefit you and your growth in your own business, so that you can then turn that information over to the people that you work with. And when you consume less, you come more from who you are, not watching this idea there, that idea there. I mean, we already have trouble with focus. So when we consume, what happens is it just confuses us more and then puts us into paralysis, and you don't need any of that shit. So the best solution is to consume less when it comes to other people on social media doing anything close to what you do. You don't have to unfollow them, mute them. I mute people in my industry because I know my own brain. And I know that to continue to come from me, I need to limit consuming certain things. I just limit consumption in general. And this will propel you to a new level because now, there's ways to find trending audio. If you have a question about that, you don't have to go through and watch reel after reel after reel to know trending audio if you want to use that. I use trending music a lot. So that makes it easier for me because I look up the trending music and I'm not watching everybody else's reels and what they're doing with the song, right? So when you create more, it also gets you over the hump of creating more. Meaning you will get better more quickly. The less you consume, the more you create of yourself from you, the quicker and better you will get at it. The better you will know your ideal clients, the better you will understand what speaks to the people that you are looking to work with, who need what you've got. And I know it sounds, it can't be that simple. No, it really can be. It really can be. I do not consume a lot of social media. I create more. I do not consume more of my, not even competition, I just colleagues, right? Because I don't need to. There's a point where you take off the training wheels. you're already there. I'm assuming if you are listening to this podcast, you're already there. The next topic is getting into rooms where you know the least. And let me tell you, I am giving this, coming in hot with this room from personal fucking experience. Okay. I am in a cohort that's small, it's less than 50 people. It is also a secret for the most part, from the person that I'm taking the course from. I trusted this person so deeply because of knowing their history and their background to go, I'd be a fool to not get into this room. And so I did. And I am learning things. So I know surface level and a little bit deeper on the topic. I am getting a fucking PhD right now because this person is not teaching me things that are taught individually by this coach or that coach and not by this coach. It is not basic, but baseline rules, even though I don't like rules. We like to break them, right? You have to learn them and then break them. But learning rules around these topics. And if I hadn't have gotten in this room with somebody who's like a million miles ahead of me, I would not be learning so intensely as I am right now. And that translates to you. Just like the things you do or learn or rooms you get into help you with your clients. This will carry over to you. What you do will carry over to your people. And it may feel uncomfortable or awkward to go into rooms that people are, gosh, hundreds of steps ahead of you, maybe even thousands. Do it anyway. Because one, we don't always know what we don't know when it comes to certain topics or parts of our business. And you get to meet people who are at all different levels in their business, and it will make you think about where you want to go. I realized that I am really going for being a bigger fish in a bigger pond. And I was keeping myself to a very, still in some ways keeping myself in a very small arena. And being in this cohort just helped me to kind of see that. And I want to make sure that you are not limiting yourself. So get into a room that you look around and go, why the fuck am I doing here? You're in the right place. Now, if it's over your head type of learning, it's okay because in the end, at some point, what you're learning may be really helpful. But you know the things that you want to learn more in depth. And man, when you're in rooms with people like that, you're like, oh, I mean, it just makes your blood rush. Like your blood just starts pumping. And so that was the takeaway I just wanted to give you from being where I am in this moment. And I know I'm being a little bit vague, but I'm also being respectful of the person. So that's why I'm being vague for now. Get in those rooms where you know the least. And don't be afraid to do it. Like push that button. Just do it. Next up, creating boundaries in your business. Ooh-wee. This was a topic for me that was off limits for a while. I don't know why. I thought this was not something I needed to do. Of course, I know better than that. But this is boundaries around time, which we already have time blindness in some way, shape, or form, right? So making sure that we have enough time to do the things we need to be doing to push our business forward is important. And the other thing I want you to know is that when you create a boundary like that, something that is going to help you stay focused on something or head in a specific direction or trajectory, just know you'll also be tested. The universe will test your boundaries and if you really mean it. And if you already know that when you are creating boundaries or you are making a change like that, that the universe will test you. If you already know that, you can prepare as much as you possibly can. Just know, okay, I'm going to create this boundary. It's probably going to get tested. I'm going to be just fine. So for me, I had to create a boundary and it didn't come up until today. Until today. It's so funny because I was going to talk about this topic and the very thing that I just created a boundary around came up. and I had to exercise the boundary. And I wanted to throw up. I did. I wanted to throw up. However, I also know that this boundary is very important for myself, for my business, for my clients, my paying clients. And so I have to tell you, when you do hold up your boundaries in kind ways, in respectful ways, but still boundaries nonetheless around your business, we teach people how to treat us, right? So if we teach people one thing about how we are and then we change that a little bit, we may come up against some resistance, not only from the other person, by the way, from yourself, right? Or from the universe or whatever power that be that you gravitate to or that is in your life. So knowing that when you create boundaries or you do certain things like that, you'll be tested, you can know that's coming. Just know. And then what it does, you laugh and you're like, okay, well, this is the exact scenario. Here it is. So what am I going to do? Am I going to lean into that boundary or am I going to run from it? CEO badassery, the mindset is if you create those boundaries, keep them, hold them. They teach your clients to do the same for themselves. Seeing you do something that helps you stand in your power helps others do the same. The next thing I want you to know is that many things in life can come and go. Many things in your business can come and go. Money, the way that you do business, your business model, anything like that can happen. But remember this, nobody can take away what you know. They can't take your knowledge away from you. The one that's gone through all of the life experiences and filters that are yours, that give a perspective that may be different from other people. Nobody can take what you know, and they cannot take your resilience. And just remember, if you're, being diagnosed later in life with ADHD, we have had to have epic resilience. We have had to, what's that saying? Sit down 7 times, stand up 8. Try that times like a million, right? But nobody can take that. You didn't get to where you are today by not being resilient, by not taking no for an answer or not standing up for yourself in some way, shape, or form. And we have had to use our resilience for a lifetime or until we really understood what was going on neurologically with ourselves. So just remember that people can try to take all kinds of things away from you, but they can't take away what you know, and they can't take away your resilience. And last but certainly not least, let's talk about healing. If you have gone a lifetime without knowing you had ADHD, there are going to be some things that you are going to need to heal from, and it can take time. And I've talked about unmasking before, especially recently. And this healing can look like it can come out in many different ways. It can look like letting out emotions. It can look like stepping into a risk in your business that you weren't going to take, but stepping into your power and just saying yes to something that's gut level. It can mean healing from the records that have been playing in your head over and over again of things that people have said and forgiving that and letting it go. Don't take your healing for granted. It's important. Make sure that you give it time in your life, because if you try to go around it, those emotions are still going to come up over time. And the further past your diagnosis that you are, the more healing you can see has happened in retrospect. And I will tell you the one final thing about this and about healing is that one of the biggest aspects of healing has been the conversations that I have had human to human with people who've been through it in community. I have a lot of women in my life who own businesses who also have ADHD. Why? It's my specialty. When it comes to this particular thing, don't stop in your business. Don't stop yourself from continuing to move, but do allow that time as well. Don't forget that. And don't forget how pivotal other human beings' experiences and the kind that help you feel like you are not alone are super healing. When someone says, I see you, I get you, I know where you've been, it will be better. I can help you. I'm telling you my story. And then as you get further down your road, you get to do the same for others too. So don't forget the healing. It's something that you do over time. And it does happen. It really does. And you start to see yourself in a different light, in much more positive and kind and empathetic ways of seeing yourself. And I think that helps us see others more in that way too. There's nothing more badass as a CEO that you can do than healing and also leading from the middle, showing that certain things are just a natural part of human life, of being human. So make some time for the healing so that it doesn't sneak up on you. And with that, I'm going to end today's episode. Please subscribe, tell a friend, drop in the DMs and tell me what you got out of this episode. I'm a connection queen, so community and your feedback as a listener are always welcome here. Please, I love to hear from you. And until next time, I see you, I love you, and I am fucking rooting for you unapologetically, always. So, see you next time. Bye. Oh, hey, you're still here. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the ways to follow me. And of course, my goal is to find and help as many women with ADHD get away from the 9-to-5 grind, because it's just not designed for our neurospicy brilliance, and there are other ways to do life. So by subscribing, sharing, and giving a 5-star review, it helps other women find this podcast as well. And if there's an episode you really love, please feel free to take a screenshot and share it on your social and tag me in it so that I can thank you personally. Until next time, you spicy brained unicorn. Bye.